So, how are you tonight, Elvis Presley? You're back on camera. Hello? How are you? I'm very good. I am fixing this bike. You want ham? Can anybody get the dog ham? Your tail's on screen, but only your tail. You've got it in your heart. Give Elvis Presley some ham. And convince Priscilla that Elvis is back and in the UK and a dog. Are you going to say anything else for the camera? Right, cut. Hi, I'm Gareth Davis, and this is my MASH 50. All the electrics were burnt out. Pulse coil on the stator, second coil on the coil, one of the diodes in the rectifier. Even the ECU might have indicators not working when the engine's running. Not sure yet. See if the fixing the rest of the electrics will make that work. I've already put a new DCI on, but the parts came from Temu. So I got nipples for the front brake caliper, 10 of, box of circlips, so my gear selector won't keep coming off, hopefully. So I've already put that clip on. The rectifier, the nipples, the coil, a new spark plug with 3 anodes on it, so that's brilliant, and it's bright orange, so that should be really good. So we've got the stator, we've got the rectifier, so just let's put the parts on the bike. There we are, job done, parts are on the bike. Enough of the dad jokes, let's get on with some real work. So I think the first job will be to take the stator and fit it to the side casing. Oh, I think we're going to have to change the angle. There we are. So here's my side casing. I'm wondering now which way round it goes. That goes there, that goes there, guess that'll go like that. And remember, there's a sticker stuck on here, so that'll have to be removed, I presume. So the question is, there they are. I was just wondering what I'd done with the fasteners. If that fits in. Just wondering which way round that must go. So I'm presuming it'll face up right. So the centre will be, yeah, that'll be the way. So that should be 2 bolts. Quite small, I guess. I think we decided they were some funny tiny size. 5/16. They look the same. That must be that. They were super tight. So I've stuck this sensor so it's upright, with the metal bit facing that. I guess that's what it takes its reading from, I guess. Whoop. So that one started. Let's get the other side started before starting to tighten them up. If you've got big hands, this is quite fiddly. You've got to get through 2 layers of sheet metal, so that it'll start threading in. I don't think I've got any Loctite. I think it all leaked out. So we'll just have to tighten these up. Right, need some leverage to make sure it's tight. tight as I can get that. Right, let's see about locating these. Right, so I guess that has to go in there. I guess that'll have to go around there underneath it. This will have to be located through the hole of the casing before we locate that. Now, the one part that didn't turn up was a separate parcel I ordered, which was the electric pins and the plastic plugs that they located to replace the ones that had melted. So I'm probably going to have to reorder some, but as the European part supplier for this bike was going to cost me 66.65 plus 20 postage, and Temu did everything, nipples and clips on top, for 33.35, so it was definitely a massive saving. Now there's a rubber grommet which slips into the casing. It's got a back bit of casing that holds it in place. So you need to push the grommet through the hole and then push it into the casting, I guess. You got that? Maybe, has that got a thread on? Is that how the grommet? So I guess get it in some. Wires are individual holes, so you can't just put the grommet in and slide it into the casing. Oh, nearly got it. that's pushed into the thing, and the casing that stops it back out. Allocate that wire so it doesn't get trapped. So now notice the wiring loom from the stator is trying to push the plug up even though it's in the correct position. I'm just trying to rearrange the loom so it's not pushing it upwards. I think that's in the right position to line the 3 holes up, which only the 3. They're that small. That's a screw. That's the 3rd one. I think they'll be the 3. I guess again you'll want some thread locker. Get all 3 bolts threading before you tighten them. Make sure the alignment's correct. And check that the wire going to the sensor over here isn't trapped between the stator and the housing that you're mounting it on. And check that the loom going to the outer casing isn't pushing the rubber bung upwards. I was able to push mine down just with the end of the spanner, and then the cable kinked the other way. So Temu had lots of parts for all the different bikes, but you've literally just got to measure, count pins on plugs, check colours, because it's not necessarily going to go, oh, this is the stator for a MASH 50 dirt track, but it will tell you it's a 32mm centre and how many coils there is, I think it was even funny with the searches, like when I put in 8 coil stator, it wasn't coming up, but then what did I search for? Maybe something like 50cc stator, and it came up. You know, you've just got to try different searches, different names. And then it appeared. Always, once you've tightened them all up, make sure the others haven't come loose because you've tightened the others up. Right, so there we are. Status fitted. The loom pushed back that way. This loom coming around underneath, not trapped under the housing. So I was getting an oil leak on the casing here. So seems to be, I don't see any damage inside there. Bit of damage there. Can't see any damage inside. Not sure where it was leaking from. The only thing I noticed is when it was allocating the gasket to the surface, the gasket hadn't sealed on one side of it, so we'll have to presume that was the problem. I'll probably just fill the whole area with Permatex copper, and then I won't have to worry about any leaks. Just trying to clean off any residual from the original gasket. Seem to have missed a bit when I rebuilt the engine. And then we'll be able to ride the bike, check everything's hunky-dory, and when she's hot we can tune the carburetor, and then we can book the MOT once I'm satisfied everything's right with it. So I've got all that off. I need to wipe it with a rag, find the Permatex, put the gasket on, check that this is all clean, and we'll be good. That'll be one of the jobs done. Ugh. Just gonna grab a coffee whilst I find a rag and stuff. So I've got my Permatex Super Copper, I've got my rag, so I'll just go de-oil my gasket surface. Go around it on the bike. bit off there again. I'll clean it all actually, because I don't want any grease or anything interfering. You can see the scratches there when the crank bearing had collapsed and the status was rubbing, but it shouldn't make any difference. So we've got to permatex the surface now. I only buy this one. That's all I need. It's I checked the heat rating, and the Permatex Extreme Heat was like high Celsius. Like, I guess random numbers now, not accurate. I guess 500 Celsius or something. And I looked at the Super Copper, and it was like 3000 Celsius. And it's, you know, it's good for oil or anything. I had it on my turbo on the Volvo when that burnt out. The one thing inside the burnt out complete car that was fine on the turbo was copper Permatex. Yeah, even like the aluminium bonnets and everything had melted. But that on the turbo, fine. Now I've got some swarf in my finger. It's out now. So that's the chunk of Permatex I've just filled in where the oil leak was between the starter and the casing. But the only failure point I found in the gasket was that bolt hole there. So it was coming through the bolt hole and out the gasket. Oh, just put it on the gasket. I think it's easier to put the sealant on the gasket than on the engine. always put enough so it'll squidge out. Because I leave it 24 hours to set. Mind you, one of them bolt holes didn't set. Must have been because of the lack of oxygen or something when it sealed. I don't know. Well, it seems to have set on the bolt now, but it's out in the air, so it must have been that. Looks about right. I'm just lining up the gear selector hole, sliding it on onto the dowels, and now we've got to find the right bolts. You can see a large build-up of Permatex there. I just put it off like this. So that I can put a new application on. As you see, it really can't go anywhere because it's all one piece and crushed in and sealing. Right, let's see if we can find the right bolts with the right holes. It's not. That probably will be. That'll be the. I will go around first. Nope. Oh, that should be alright. So a better hole anyway. Don't want to be too long. What about this one? Where's my 10mm? That is my 10mm, but I think I want the 8mm if I remember right. 7, 10, 8. So the 8mm will be the same as the 5/16. Do I have an 8mm? It's I wonder where I'll place that. Oh, I just had the 8mm. What am I on about? Just going to check that I'm correct to thinking that's 8 mil. Yeah, the standard mash. One's at 8. The ones I bought to replace are 10, which are okay in certain places. Not going in, or is it not long enough? Maybe it needs a longer one. Slightly longer, slightly longer. Anywhere else for it to be? No, that's not that. Sure, that's the shortest. I'll try this one instead. Let's put that one there for now in case we've got to rotate any of them. Now I think these ones will be they'll be the two next to the oil leak. These three will be the starter housing. Let's try this one in here. That's nipping up. I think that's the right one. So what I'm doing is looking at the bolt, looking how long it is on casting, and that's going a bit further, so I think that one goes in there. But maybe I don't know, it's that one, because that's not long enough. That one is well long. Is there any other well long one? It's quite long. We'll go for this one. You can always Sikaflex the bolts later to make sure they're not leaking out. Got one in here. That'll be the shortest one. Go for this one. You've got to be careful with your bolt lengths, because if they're too long, you'll split your casing, strip your thread, and if they're too short, they won't hold enough. Oh, this is an interesting one. That seems to have had a washer or a collet or something. Bigger than a washer. Oh, is it? Oh, that is definitely. Oh, it is a couple of washers. Yeah, I know which one that is. That's the bottom one that I was using down here. It was slightly too long, so I put a couple of washers on so it tucked in. Might not have realised there was two. Is that one in use? Or? Maybe that's just my crank cover doesn't have any thing there. Maybe I'll just have to have a quick look. Wiring goes up there. Kind of behind this. That's probably just a casing bolt that I've not put in because I thought it would be for attaching to it. Maybe, possibly. I think we're going to have to slide this protective sheath back. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to change this wiring so the AC pin was running double pin so it didn't overheat on the single pin. So there's a clip to fold and hold that into place. And that will go there. And the plug will slot onto there to match the bike plug. And here's the original that was snipped off so I could remove it. So I left enough pigtails so they could be soldered. I'll either unpin it, or if that doesn't work I'll just cut it open, because in the box came a new plug to put over this, so this one can be dissected. Right, so I've got a longer one here. I don't think it's going to be that. It might be. Might be alright. It's nipping up tight anyway. We haven't fastened that one in. Just make sure that one's in all the way. No gap between the head of the bolt and the casing. We've got one in there, haven't we? Yeah. And now they're all in place, we can nip them up. And as you see, all that Permatex is squidging. Well, hopefully this time she won't be leaking, because that'll be the one that was letting oil out, but I won't risk it. I've got an MOT and I don't want any fluids leaking out. So I'll just over Permatex the gap here, fill it right up so it can't leak anything. Permatex all around the starter, Permatex the starter holes, and we should be good. Right, that is the stator done. What's next? So we've got the cog in here, got the starter on the back side, got all the negatives that I connect to the thingy, the negative to the back of the starter when I bolt the starter up, got the gear linkage. I've already put the circlip on, hopefully that will stay in place this time. Probably because it was a British circlip on a Chinese bike, so but proper Chinese circlip. Hopefully that will sort out the problem. I even went as far as putting some chemical metal on the end of it to stop the clip coming off. And still did it. I'm just looking at these screws. They're a bit corroded for my coil earth, so I might see if I can find some better condition ones. That one's looking alright. But let's finish this lot first. Get the starter on, get the pinion on, and that area will be done. Then I'm going to have to wash my hands, so feeling oily. Let's get the oil off this casing as well. Because you won't see any oil leaks apart from the puddle on the floor if it's got oil everywhere. Well, the washer's in place there, that's good. Doesn't go that side though, because that locating pin has got to go into the housing there, and if the washer was there it would be in the way. And it's got a washer at the other side. This has come out of that side, maybe. Definitely one there. Interesting. Let's see if it'll stay in place. Looks like it will. That should be alright. I put it together one time and this was all locked up tight with the starter, so there's a bit of finagling putting it together. Right, wash my hands and have a break. All circulation's going from my leg. Oh, getting up. Oh, lead legs. Spacewalk. How you doing, Elvis? a bit louder for the camera. So, go back a bit, or you'll go off screen. I'm not changing the angle. It's a very nice tail you've got. Right. So, what have we got? Where's my pinion gone? It's quite an interesting question, actually. Where did the pinion go? Oh, is it still? No, it's not there. Clamps. Hang on. I've forgotten something. This is quite an important piece, I guess. Does it fit in here? Or have I got a... Oh dear. That goes inside the casing. And that's where this extra washer is. That's one there, one that side, there we are. So we're going to have to take the casing off because it goes in there. Stick it back on. It's quite annoying. Hopefully my tea break we forgot to stick one in there as well. That'll be one of them Permatex nut bolts. I'll put them in order so I can put them in nice and easy. That would have been... Why is my bike not starting? So we mustn't forget that. Saved myself a lot of headache though. So that shaft on that cog has a couple of roller bearings in the casing that shaft that the cogs spin on with them straight cut gears. Oh dear. See if I can separate this gasket without damaging it. I'll have to undo that cable tie there. Oh. Right, so we want this. The question is, which way around? Oh, that's the way it goes. So the big cog side in first. Right, see if we can get locate on the gear selector again. Oh, see how that magnet pulled it in then. Put that underneath again. So we're going to take that out of the way. Fold that tab over again. Where's that bolt that came out there? Oh. Well, that wasn't so painful, was it? No. So at some point, I've still got it. I take the engine apart, take off half the crank casing that's cracked, because when I forced it together, the gear cogs cracked the casing where one of the bearings was. So hopefully that won't break and we won't have to change it. The problem with that is it's the half that has the engine number on. There's that sticker there, there's that sticker there, but that's the side cover obviously, and the stamping down here. So, big problem. When I change that, so hopefully it'll last. I'll MOT the bike, and then by the time I get round to fixing that, I'll just take the old side case with me, show him that it's broken. He's already seen it on the bike, and hopefully that'll be satisfactory. I don't know, because I've never had a bike MOT yet, but touch wood. Now, I'm not sure what length is required for this bolt. That one feels pretty long. Oh, this is quite difficult. There's not actually enough room for a 10mm socket. Maybe it was just misaligning. put a nub in for it to bite. Right, that's it. There we are. Ooh, right. So we've got that cog in. Go into there. Get this one in. Washers in place. Line that up. I hit slides when yeah. Right, so I wonder if we can jam it with a screwdriver or something. That kind of works. There we go. So I'm just going to clean the old Permatex off. There is an O-ring around here, but as I had an oil leak, I was sealing up everything. There we are. Look on the casing. Right, where's my rag? I'll try and make some progress because I can feel my legs going all spacey and I'll start moonwalking soon. I'm sure I saw a gasket for this. As that's there, I don't think I'll bother. I'll just dry up the surface. Now, when you do this with this Permatex, it's quite difficult to get this cover off. It seems to stick, but I used to just put a Stanley blade between the ears, and then you can wriggle a screwdriver in the hole and it comes apart. Now this does have different ways of mounting, so I'll trust that to it's like don't be awkward. Oh, it's sliding out because the bike's leaning on the side stand. That's not it. The third and last option. There we are. Right. Now, in theory, that's these three, isn't it? I'm not sick of flexing them up just yet. I was thinking, I know they're covered in Permatex and I can't see any bolts that are covered in Permatex. So I've been researching my front forks with testing the front brakes. I was looking at the movement on the front forks and I was like, I think I'd prefer a stiffer fork. And you know, being a dirt track and stuff. And so I looked into it, and every 4 years you're supposed to change the fork oil and clean the components inside and inspect them for any wear. So you get from, I've seen from 7.5 weight, which is soft road, 10 weight, which is road, 15, which is a track, and 20 weight, or 20W, which is like a scrambler. Well, I found some monoshocks. They're about 2.5 inches longer, which will lift my seat up to my bottom, make the bike fit me better. And they're off a scrambler, so I might just put scrambler fluid in and have a harder suspension. So that's pushed in there. So the starter goes on next. So we've got the breather pipe on the housing. Whilst that's fine because we never took it off. We've got the cables inside the clip. Which has got to run between the casing and the pinion without being in touch. There is a hole there. Oh yeah, no. That'll be to hold the cable back away from the pinion. That'll be the the tab I had spare. I wonder where that is now. Oh, I found my pinion holder. There's 2 pinion bolts, that's alright. I can't see my pinion for some reason. So I'll have to have a look for that. And obviously I want to hold that cable back because we don't want that catching on anything. So I'm just going to have a pause, have a look for my pinion, look for that tab bolt to hold the status cable away from everything, which traps between the sprocket casing. I'll have to clean all this up after it's all set. You see now, you have to, oh my goodness, my legs are proper space. Whoa, that's proper funny. Right, I love trying to walk when you've got no blood in your feet. So I found the little tab thing I was looking for. It just has a bolt that goes through there, and then it holds the cable out of the way of the sprocket. That goes in there apparently. Don't know what size hole it is yet, but it'll only be a short one. It's definitely not that one. Putting these little things back in is quite vital, because when you're riding, things like to move around. And all it would have to do is start rubbing, and then it would break a cable, and you'll break down, everything will burn out. You'll be like, why didn't I put that little bit on? There we are, they all seem all fine. More happy days coming out there. I haven't found the sprocket yet. Ah, dear, dear, dear. Sprocket can't have been far there. It's not as if I've taken the parts anywhere. Oh, I found another oil rag. And I wanted the oil rags, I couldn't find the oil rags. No, I don't need the oil rag, I can't find the sprocket. Sprocket cover. Chain. Don't see sprocket. There it is. I found it. Nice and oily. Just as it's supposed to be. Now I've got to see if I can get enough slack without I don't think that's the right position. I'm sure I'm going to have to. Oh, the bike's moving, isn't it? Oh, annoying. So that's slacken the axle, loosen up the adjusters. Or undo the chain, but I think I'll opt for this one side. There's always one thing more in it. I wonder where the spanner or other socket for the other side got placed. Just try and remember to stick my tank rubbers on. Probably do that when I try changing the nipple on the front brake caliper. What am I looking for? I'm looking for can't see. There's my 1/2 inch. That'll have the right one on properly. No, no, possibly. No. Possibly, but it's still not my 1/2 inch. There's my 1/2 inch. What have I done with my 1/2 inch socket? That's a bit random. Well, I had it to do the back wheel. Right, instead of keeping you waiting, I'll pause you. So I found my 1/2 inch socket set, so I can undo my rear axle. Can you subscribe, please? That would help me out a lot. Oh, don't say the wrong sockets there. 26. No, don't have a space for 26. Let me guess. 19 isn't where it's supposed to be. Great. I wonder where I placed that. 17. Let me guess, that's not in the right one, but the 19 is there, so that's good. No, that's the other size. No, it's the other way around. So let's go 19 on the 3/8 and 17 on the that's everything slackened. Right, so I need a spanner now. I do wonder how these get misplaced. You think you've put everything away properly and it goes missing. So I was saying, please subscribe. Just need a Gmail email account. Log into YouTube with your email and password and hit the subscribe button. Right, we should actually be able to get this sprocket on now. Oh, after all that kerfuffle. Bit more slack apparently. I hate having the headstock turned the other way for the camera angle. Trying to get the wheel to move a bit. Where's my sprocket gone? Yeah, it is. It's on. Thank goodness for that. It is on the real one, is it? Yeah, that's alright. I'll just get that nipped up then. Just plug one. burst of brain then. Ah! Right, so that's on. I guess cover. Quite a short one, I guess. How short is the question? Let's try the short one first, then I won't break any castings. It's starting to bite, but it's only going to be a couple of threads. I'll try that one then. There's the tent. Let's go bottom hole. It is. Fit. No, it's not long enough. Maybe it's that one. That is a bit longer. No, that's definitely not that. Allocating properly. Just want to make sure that's going in straight. Take that off and check the hole because I don't like the way it feels. spacers off just to see. Biting this time. Oh, I got a better way to go. Is that actually going in? Or? Let's close it up. Gear linkage. So bike's on the floor, so nice and low. Oh, we did mark it, didn't we? I'll put that on the outside. How's that line? The problem is, I don't know it's in neutral. What should we do about that then? I will do it up, and if it's not in neutral, we'll just have to redo it. We've got 10 actually. I wonder where that's gone as well. feels pretty level. As long as it's in neutral, it's not much, just take that off. So that's starter motor. So I've not disconnected the positive from the starter motor. That's still attached. But there's no battery on the bike or anything. Just got to make sure my negative cables aren't trapped. Get everything to wriggle in. We're up to the mount point. 1, 2, 3 wires. Getting my earth or neutrals bolted on. Oh, I'm trying to get the bolt to start as well, apparently. Come on. Don't usually have trouble going in. Just grab an extra bolt for the other one. Right, 10 mil. Interesting. All of a sudden this seems to be stood it. Now does that suggest? That's the casing that would be in. Try it a bit longer. That sort of size. A bit longer. So. Seemed to do the job nicely. Just used a longer one. It got to a depth where it got to some better thread. So that's everything done there. Suppose it's could fasten them up. But till I get my new plugs, or do I need a new plug? I wonder if I've got any male spade types to replace the AC that's missing in the plug from where it's melted. Technically I want two, or change plug type altogether. I have to be careful the loom's routed the right way. I suppose pulling the wheel back to position would be a good plan. So. J, yeah. Yeah, chain tension, not flapping, good, it's all solid, good, good, good. All right. So, I think that's enough for tonight. I think we can fit the coil and rectifier and ECU, spark plug, and do a front end service, maybe nipple, shock oil, different one again. Got to do the wiring, but that's not going to be easy without the plugs. What I'm thinking is the melted ones, I'll take the melted plastics off, put heat sleeve over the cable, put the spades together and melt the heat shrink over them till the correct plugs come, so it will actually run and work rather than be not working and not tested. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. Sorry the side casing and the starter motor sprocket took so long. It's my own fault for forgetting to put in the little shaft and cog and having to take it off again. But we're getting there. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. Have you got something you want to say, Elvis? What would you like to say, Elvis? It's finished. That was proper funny. I'm going to make a short video of you just going rum, rum, rum.